the first thing we're going to learn is baker's percentages. And the reason we use baker's percentages is because it allows us to make precisely the amounts of dough that we would like. So small amounts, big amounts, it doesn't matter. You can literally make any amount of dough that you like, and it's very quick and it's very easy. And it will also allow you to convert dough recipes that you find on the internet back into baker's percentages if you want to use more or less than the recipe gives you. So how it works is flour is always set to 100%. Alright, so nothing weighs more than the flour, so it's always set to 100%. Then each subsequent ingredient is a percentage of that flour weight. So this is the precise baker's percentages that I used when I was training to make pizza in Italy. This is for the main dough, and I'll go into the pre-fermenting in the next lesson. But just for now, we're going to get used to using baker's percentages and understanding how to use them. So you've got flour at 100% because it always weighs the most. Water, also known as hydration, 54%. Yeast, 0.1%. Olive oil, 1.62%. Salt is 2.7%. And for the flour that we're going to be using, because we're going to use McDougall's Double O flour, which is a UK company in the UK, it's quite light on the protein content, so we're going to add vital wheat gluten into it to increase the gluten content to make it stretchier, a bit more doughy, and to kind of give us that kind of chewy crust that we're looking for. So they're percentages that we're going to be going through in a moment. The formula that we use for the baker's percentages to work out the weights is the flour weight, and for this entire course I'm going to be working off the flour weight of 400 grams, which is enough in the final weight to give us it's enough for about 8 to 9 each pizzas, depending on how thick or thin you like them. So it's the flour weight divided by 100, and then you times it by the ingredient percentage. That gives you your subsequent weights to put in to mix in with the dough. Flour weight divided by 100, times it by the ingredient percentage, and we'll give you ingredient weight. Okay, so we're going to apply this now. So I've already said 400 gram flour weight for the main dough. Alright, that's the number we're going to be divided by 100, is 400. So we've got the water content. Now you can see here it's the water content is 54%, so that's what we're going to times it by when we plug it into the formula. So water equals 4 divided by 1 times by 54 equals let's just get this up. So 4 divided by 1 times by 54 equals 216. So our flour weight is 216 grams. So all we're going to do now is go through each subsequent ingredient weight using the exact same formula to figure out how much we're going to add into the main dough. Yeast, 4 divided by 1 times by 0.1% equals 4 divided by 1 times by 0.1 equals 0.4. Alright, so we can put this as in grams, 0.4 grams. Olive oil, 1.62% olive oil equals 4 divided by 1 times by 1.62. .48 grams. Salt, 10.8 grams. Vital wheat gluten. I will put an article up that goes into kind of like how to understand flour strengths. It's not really worthy of a video in and of itself, so I will put something up on the course to cover that. Okay, so vital wheat gluten. You can play around with the vital wheat gluten content. What you don't want to do is add too much in, because it can end up tasting a little bit better, but you can put a bit less in, you can put a bit more in. You can really play around with those percentages to taste. Okay, 6 grams. There's your ingredient list with all the weights. 400 grams of flour, 216 grams of water, 0.4 grams of yeast, 6.48 grams of olive oil, 10.8 grams of salt, and 6 grams of vital wheat gluten. It's that straightforward. You can apply this to anything. So that is how we use baker's percentages, and that's how we can just make the amounts of dough that we want, depending on how much pizza or how big we want the pizza, or do you want deep pan, or do you want Romana or Neapolitan. This is how we adjust it and keep waste to a minimum.